Or I probably have to go to Pixels. Probably have to go to their website and or something.
I mean, would you like to get their phone number then?
Ta 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 ta. We went, folks, and we left the application because nobody answered the bell. And we should make a note of what time that was. It was 1 o'clock, 5 minutes to 1. And there's a snowball tree. And there's the big party over there. Did that woman who came out, did she look like... No, that wasn't the same woman that we saw before, was it?
No, I can't be sure. I couldn't say.
This is a vegetarian lunch for me. Do you know what street this is? Can you see a sign?
Is it Parker?
Oh, it's Parker. Yes, it's 801 Parker Street. It used to be on Utopia Boulevard. And it has been anything but a utopian public access experience. This is my 13th person that I've sent. And what's this cross street?
This is the Toland.
Oh, Tolland, okay.
Tolland Turnpike.
Yep, that goes to Tolland County and Tolland Town. I'll put you right there and let me know if you make any sharp turns. I send pulses of help to that man who's being operated on right now. Nice job. Another car in front of me.
She's right in front of me.
Oh, okay. What kind of a car is that, Ray?
The one that she has. I'm not quite sure.
Come on, focus. Right there, honey.
Yeah, I'll go right there.
And right here, right behind you too.
We'll take this one right here.
Take my life and let it be consecrated, Lord, to thee.
That's good enough.
Will you get my seatbelt for me, hon? Thank you.
Oh, goody! So we need space on the table. There you go.
I know.
Give thanks, O God, for this food we are about to eat. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, God, for your largesse. Thank you, God, for your affluence. Amen. You get what you wanted?
Oh, yeah.
You just had soup. You don't want a sandwich too?
Oh, this will fill me up.
You can actually eat the bread.
Yeah, you can eat the bowl. It's like sourdough.
Good sandwich.
Yeah, they make good food here.
Good sandwich.
It's fresh. So tell me something about your adventures in life.
Well, I was born in Prescott, Maine.
Oh, really?
Yeah, which is very close to the Canadian border.
Right.
And it was in the Depression. And it was awful hard for my mother and father to feed 4 children. And then we moved to Lincoln, Maine. And Maine is a very big state. That's about 140 miles south of Prescott. And then we went to Bangor, which is a very sophisticated city, very nice city. This is such a good sandwich.
It looks delicious too.
Is it good, huh? I went to school in Bangor, Maine, and the war started. 1941, Pearl Harbor. And my father, for the first time, could get a good paying job in industry in war efforts, and he went to Springfield, Massachusetts. And then my mother and father could sort of recover financially. And I went to high school in Springfield, Massachusetts. And I went to college in Springfield, Massachusetts, American International College. And I got a bachelor's degree. And then I went to the University of California at Berkeley for a brief time. And I went to University of California at Los Angeles. And then I got a job at NBC Television. NBC Television. first 23 years. Now tell me your first 23 years.
Now, whereabouts was the where was the NBC television back then? Where was it in Hollywood or
Hollywood and Vine.
Oh, really?
But they when television really came in the 50s, they built NBC Burbank.
Yeah, Burbank.
Yeah, well, most of my first 23 years was spent in Barbados. That's where I was born. And that's where I grew up. That's where I went to school. And then I got a job right out of high school. I got a job as a cub reporter on the only newspaper on the island. So I worked for a little over a year, and then my parents were living here, and my father kept saying, if you want to have an education, you need to come to the United States. You want to come. So I came, and I came in and joined them, and started working and going to college. Went to Brooklyn College.
You came to Brooklyn, or you came to Manhattan, or?
Came to Brooklyn and went to Brooklyn College. So I walked to college or took the bus.
That's a very good college.
It is.
They have a rather prestigious law school too.
Right. And a good communications department.
Do they?
Yeah.
And a great library, the Brooklyn Library. Now, how old are you then?
When I graduated, I was 24. I graduated pretty much on time. I caught up, and I think I spent just a semester longer than most people normally would.
Where did you go your first 24 years?
Where did I go? For my school or my job or something.
Well, you were born in
62.
and that would be down around Poughkeepsie?
Yeah, Poughkeepsie. And born in Poughkeepsie in 1962 and went to grade school and graduated from Arlington High School in 1980. And took part-time classes at the Dutchess Community College in Poughkeepsie. From the day I started at Dutchess taking courses until I actually graduated and got my degree, there was like about 13 or 14 years in between.
And that was in communication.
When I was working at IBM and worked at different companies, and when I worked at IBM, I got laid off of IBM, and I went to school full time as a full-time student. Mm-hmm. And that led me to get enough credits, and I graduated in 1995. I got my associate degree. I got.
What year?
Oh, 1995.
And you were how old?
Oh, I don't know. 33, I guess, or something like that.
That's okay. Lots of people graduate.
But I wasn't a full-time student. Once I got a full-time job at IBM, I just went with the job and worked at my job, and that's what I did. And I wasn't really thinking about other stuff.
And your daddy worked for IBM, didn't he?
Yeah, my dad worked for IBM for years. And it was interesting. It was fun.
So it means that the three of us were in communications at one point.
Yeah, right.
My degree was in communications and media arts, and up until 92, I had no idea I was going to go in for that, but I had to pick a major of some type, and I said, well, that's going to be it. That was it. So, I learned things then, which I still kind of use today.
Yeah, sure.
I'm not working for a media company right now, but
But he does have a job, and that's something today.
Yeah, I do have a job.
It is.
I got a job about a month ago. I started working at a seasonal type job.
And I worked for NBC 2 years. I met Bob Hope and Jack Benny and Red Skelton.
That was exciting.
That was fun. And that's when I made up my mind that I would go into television. I sat down and had a long talk with God at age 23. It kept coming up television. And I've been in it for 60 years.
Great. That's a great record.
I'll take you through the next decade. I started my first TV show in Pittsfield, Massachusetts. And then moved to a bigger TV station in Manchester, New Hampshire. And then Milton Bradley Company, who makes games and trams, they sponsored my show in Boston, in the Westinghouse station, big station. And then after that, General Electric, I was on the air for General Electric with a children's show for 6 years. So that brings you up to 1956. Now it's your turn.
Well, I worked for a while in government for 25 years or so.
You did?
In New York City.
City government, state government?
A little bit with state, but mostly city.
Which borough? Brooklyn?
No, all over the city.
All 5 boroughs?
One of the things I was in charge of for a while was the community board budget participation process, where we go out to all the community boards and make sure we got their input into the city budget.
Thank you for doing that. Yeah. It's a good thing you did.
I worked with the homeless. I was in charge of homeless policy for the Department of Public Services, Social Services. I worked with the elderly.
Thank you.
I ran a job skills training program.
Wonderful.
I ran a trauma program, a crisis program in the hospitals. So I said that all that was in preparation for what I do now.
Yes.
So I'm not afraid to deal with street people. I'm not afraid to deal with people who are down on their luck. Because I've worked with them all my life.
I thank you for doing that. And then that 25 years was up what year?
Now when I came into ministry, it was I came into ministry in 99.
99. And was that when the 25 years that you were working, was that when it was up? So what did you do from 50 to 2000?
2000, I got my degree in 95 and then started working part-time jobs, and it was kind of like living off my IBM severance pay that I got. I got a lot of that, and went on a trip and went to school at Dutchess. I met a lot of new people I know.
You went out to California, didn't you?
Yeah, I went out to California, took a trip out there. I went to LA and went around there because I was kind of interested in movies and TV. And that was interesting to do that. I went to museums. I went to drove out.
Where?
Met a friend of mine that was moving out to California. Her family lived down in California. And she rented a Ryder truck, and her and me, we drove it across country, went out to Fresno, California.
She and I. She and I. You remember? She and I.
She and I. We drove across country, and just kind of did what I wanted to do, and I had a feeling of freedom.
And that was up until 2000?
Well, 2000. Then I came back home and got another contractor job doing work and all, and moved back home and moved out of home and got an apartment and got moved back home again. So it kind of goes back and forth, I guess.
That was from 2000 to 2010.
And I decided I want to put other public access shows. And I wanted to try to make up my own show, my own vision of what I want to do, and put that on. And it's on in Dutchess County, and it's on in Hartford. It's on in Hartford, in Connecticut.
And who helped you?
Glendora, she helped me, and brought me to the town.
We met what, in 2004?
2000, I think 7, I guess. 2006 or 7, I think.
He watched my program and he called me up. We talked several times on the phone, and I invited him up. And I saw what he was trying to do, and I encouraged him. And then he did. And I showed him how to do public access.
Yeah, I collect a lot of things. I collect whole movies or films or 8 or 16 millimeter films. I buy it up if I find it around, and I have a pretty big collection of it. I drove up one day and I showed Glendora my collection of all my stuff, and she was interested in that.
So in 1962, I finished the television with General Electric, which is a big TV station in the capital district of New York. And then I taught church school for 4 years in the inner city of Buffalo. These children came from the poor side of the city, and then on the other side of the city there was more poverty. And they would come in every noon and every afternoon. And we taught them. And that was Asbury, Delaware Methodist Church in Buffalo. In the city, right downtown. And then I went into graduate school in physics. Well, I went to the university because I wanted to learn about the universe.
How was that experience?
Oh, wonderful. I never became a candidate for a degree. I didn't want to be one. And then I went into cable TV in 1972. Your turn. 1999.
99. I did a number of things. Around about 1996, I resigned my job. I was working for a politician, and some ethical concerns came up. I had never resigned a job before like that, for that reason.
That's a hard decision.
But it was God calling me into ministry, because people had told me, you should be in ministry, you should be in ministry, and I kept saying, no, that's not for me. No. And then I resigned this job, and everybody said to me, well, looking at your resume, you'll get a job right away. Who wouldn't want to have you on their staff? But I didn't. I got called for 7 jobs and got up to the end and then didn't get the job. So I said, God must be trying to tell me something. So I sat down one day. I came in one day from an interview, And I threw my hands up and opened the Bible and said, God, you must be saying something to me. Opened to the book of Jonah and read the story all over again. And said, you know what, I'm Jonah. God's telling me to go someplace and I won't go. So I'm suffering as a result of it. I had to move back home with Mother.
You did?
I had to move back home because I'd used up all my money.
Was that in Brooklyn?
Yeah.
I see.
So, and I did some odd jobs. I taught in the public school system for a semester, and they wanted to keep me. They didn't want me to go back. They wanted me to, the principal wanted me to become a certified teacher and to teach. And then I went back to working at the community college. They had a program in the prison where they taught the prisoners on Rikers Island. And what I did was I did college prep with them.
Wonderful.
And they didn't want me to leave. When I left from there and went straight to seminary, they didn't want me to leave. Because a lot of those women, nobody came to visit them while they were in jail.
Oh.
And a lot of them were in jail because their boyfriends had been dealing drugs. And when they knew the police were coming, they took off and left the women, and the women took the fall for it. Many of the women weren't dealing drugs. They were just in the house with the person who was dealing drugs.
Well, that's pretty bad that the police can't tell the difference.
Well, they can, but they had to arrest somebody.
Look at Jesus Christ. They arrested him, and then the chief priest and the elders of the nation all sat down and found out a reason to arrest him. That would bring the death penalty.
Right.
So it's the same thing today, 2,000 years later.
Yep. So.
Greg, can you find me a drink of water? She said it was down at the soda fountain. So, what year was that you left the prison?
98. I left working for them in December, and in January I went to seminary.
Where?
Boston University.
Oh, undergraduate?
No, this is graduate. Because I had done a master's degree. I have 2 master's degrees.
My goodness, really?
Yeah.
Well, wait a second. Where'd you get your undergraduate degree?
Brooklyn College at the University of New York. Then I went,
that is a city?
yes, city. C-U-N-Y.
C-U-N-Y.
Yeah. Then I went to New York University. And I got a master's in public administration.
That's expensive, New York University.
And a master's in public administration. And then then I had to go to seminary. So I went to Boston University. I have a Master of Divinity. And I'm almost finished my PhD.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to have a big time when you finish your PhD.
Next year.
Next year, you betcha we are. How was your dinner?
This was good. They always have good fresh stuff. So I like coming here.
The bread was exceptional. That was a good sandwich. It did have jalapeno peppers in it though.
Oh, you don't like
I guess that's the only vegetable I don't like.
Yeah.
Well, you've had a great career. Now, what did you do for a thesis for your master's?
It was an organizational development. It was organizational development.
What is that?
That is usually dealing with systems, a systems approach to groups. So you look at any group, any structured group, as a system. And the system, just like the body has several systems in it, and it has to work together. And if something interrupts one part of the system, the whole system can be affected.
Oh, yeah.
So that's the whole idea behind the systems approach to management.
And what did you say? You had to say something new?
Yeah, well, I had to. I'm trying to think back. This is back in the early 90s now. So my head is now full of theology and Bible. So put that away. Thanks. I can't remember exactly what my thesis was about, but I retained those theories about dealing with building up human relationships within an organization, how to manage people, how to lead people. And all that became useful for me in the church. Because that's what you do. You manage people, you lead people, you manage volunteers.
In the church you can call on God. Probably out in the other world they won't let you.
Yeah, they won't let you. But that's what I like about what I'm doing now.
And so you got your master's in 92, you think? And then what did you do?
And then I still worked with government and the community college for a while. And then in 96 is when I had the breakup with the politician I was working for. And
Thank you for doing that.
And then I did a couple of things. I worked with Cigna Healthcare for a few months, for about 6 months. I went to teaching. I'm okay too, thank you. I went to teaching in the public schools. And then the last sort of short job I did was when I went back to the college and worked there. Which
one of your colleges?
This was LaGuardia in Queens, LaGuardia Community College.
Well, you had it in the toughest market in the United States.
Yeah, that's right.
Nothing tougher than that.
Right, and
Right, Greg? She had it in the toughest market in the United States. Queens, Brooklyn. Yeah.
And then in Boston University is tough. It's a very difficult, very challenging place to go to school. Time for me to relax. Finish this degree and relax.
You went to Boston University
for my Master of Divinity.
When did you become a candidate for a doctorate?
2004. Yeah.
I think I told you she's a candidate for a doctor's degree.
Yeah, 2004.
I became a candidate in 2004. What's your thesis on now?
The title is To Welcome the Stranger at the Door. The response of and the reception of and responses to Ghanaian immigrants in the United Methodist Church.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's my topic.
I think they want that.
So yeah, it's a very important topic right now.
Yes, and all for the Latinos.
Yeah. But the school told me I had to choose one group.
Yeah.
To narrow it down.
Oh, certainly, I can understand that. And even though you do, it's still a broad subject.
That's right.
When did you get your, when did you get your calling to be a minister and answer it?
Well, the call had been coming for a while, and like I told you, I didn't want to do it. But after I resigned that job and then couldn't get a steady job, that was the time that I started thinking maybe I'm called and maybe I should answer that call. And what's interesting is that ever since I answered the call, ever since I said yes, I haven't had a problem. It was like before I had all these problems. I answered the call and all of a sudden doors keep opening. So that's how I knew that I was doing the right thing.
I'm happy for you.
Yeah, I'm very happy doing what I do.
I'm happy for you, and I'm thankful too. Now, Greg has Thursdays and Fridays off? Fridays and Saturdays? When can we get together again? I know the 1st of September is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Can we make it again in August?
No, it would have to be September.
Okay.
If he's off Fridays and Saturdays. But that first weekend in September is Labor Day weekend.
Yes, it is.
Oh yeah.
How about the Thursday after?
In September, I could work a Friday.
I know. Oh wait, you don't have a Tuesday off, do you?
No.
Because that's when the Hartford public access. Yeah, okay.
You know, some days I'm going to be on like what they call a call in. I have to call in to see if they need me or not, and so it's kind of like a big question mark right there. So I'm not sure if I don't know a day ahead of time if I got to work or not. I got to call in a couple hours ahead of time or something.
That's rough.
So I got to see how that goes. But,
That's rough.
well,
I
anyway.
went through that with Andrew Hurst. He never knew when NBC was going to call him. Well, let's take the...
By the way, she's on the way.
Town of East Hartford. Two?
At the top.
Thanks.
Probably gonna open that way. Don't fall out.
That's clever the way they do that. Two different doors. Do you remember where it is?
Where the little office is.
Yeah.
It was under and
Maybe.
I don't see why they couldn't, even though, the two, health department,
No?
what department are you looking for?
Two. Frank Cassetta and Public Access.
Okay, you wanna head back down the hall.
Thanks.
Take a left, go all the way, and take another left.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye. So let's tell some jokes. What animal has to be oiled? A mouse. Why? Because he squeaks. There it is. Okay. So let's sit down and write a long note. Cassetta. Do you know where Cassetta is? Do you know where the law department is?
Legal counsel.
Yeah, legal counsel.
And then to the left.
Oh, thanks. Did you want to come with me, hon, or you want me to wait for you?
I'll be right there.
Oh, you're okay. I'll wait for you here. You look at the trophies. Okay. Let's go to legal.
I don't know too much about what goes on. I didn't really know. But,
I'll write him a note.
yeah, which...
That'll show him that I got here, even though, and give him my
There was
apologies.
supposed to be, I thought some woman does that stuff down there.
Oh, I think I told you that when we got back, you remember Frank Cassetta? We met him in the hallway and he was the legal department.
Yeah.
And he took my name and number. Well, 2 days after we left East Hartford, he called me. And he says, the person you want to see is Chuck Treat. And his number is so-and-so. So he kept his word. You said legal counsel's here?
This is corporation counsel.
Yeah, that's it. Where is it?
That door right there, I guess.
That's it
Is that
then.
what the guy stuck his people to?
Yes. All right, let's go write the note and leave it here.
Maybe this place is a school. Looks like it could have been a school a long time ago.
Yeah? Okay, videotape if you would as a record for me. Proof? Yeah, take a picture, please, and write in a note. Okay. Chuck Treat. Are you the corporation counsel?
I think I've met before. I'm assistant corporation counsel.
Are you Frank Cassetta?
I am.
Oh, Frank, I gotta tell you. I came to see you last time I was here, Frank,
Okay.
and to thank you.
Well, I appreciate it. I think we talked on the phone about that.
Yeah, but did I thank you?
I think you did.
Oh, no, we didn't talk. I might have left you a message. I don't remember.
I think we had a brief conversation.
Anyway, I'm very thankful, and I enjoyed meeting Chuck Tree.
Well, good.
He's a
Glad it
handsome
worked out
man.
for you.
Yeah. And I had an appointment with him at 1 o'clock, and you just don't know the trouble I got into of getting lost. But I got my 2 interviews done for Connecticut. And I'm writing him a note of apology. And I want, will you testify that I did come, that I did appear, that you saw me?
Sure, you could put that down.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So So I'm writing this and I'm going to put it under his door.
Okay. You can mention that you saw me.
And yeah, you remember Greg Washburn, Frank
Hi, Greg, how are
Cassetta? So I wanted you to know that you were a great help to me.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah. All right, so that'll cover it, huh? You tell him that you saw me.
Sure.
All right, Frank.
Okay, have a great weekend.
And you too. Bye-bye. Okay, great. I got it done. This is page 1. This is page 2.
Did you do a lot off your chest there?
Yes, I did. Thank you. All right, we can go and make a tape of this. We can make a tape of this. I wrote the letter, folks. Here it is. And I'm going to put it under the door. Which way is it now? This isn't it. Yeah, this is it. I am so sorry, Chuck. Thank you.
It's been sent.
I think I'll go to the little girl's room, okay?
All right.
Keep this one going in case anything happens. I'll be right back. Where is the rock?
Oh, right. You're right. It's
Dear, thank you. That is the nicest bathroom. That is a lovely ladies' room. Let's go downstairs and see the clerk and get the directions to Plainville. And then we can leave. We are in the presence of God. Okay. Elevator. There's quite a few of them.
See, if I look at the map here, see what the town clerk is. Yes, you said maybe it's down to the first floor, maybe?
Yeah, we're going to the first floor.
It's a long way down the stairs.
This is what we're looking for, honey. I thought she was on the border of South Windsor, but the people who were so nice to us about the direction said it was Glastonbury. Is the men's room nicely pointed?
I don't know, I didn't go on.
I thought you did.
Yeah, I'm okay for now.
Oh. Now the town clerk. This is the town clerk, right?
It's the assessor.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know, I think it might have bugged down by then. The clerk is down the end of the
Alrighty. Here's his pretty floor. Chuck treat.